Just let me know when we're recording so
You're
I
ready.
can say my initial. All right. Hey, we are back for, what episode is this? 6?
7, I think.
7? My goodness. Yep, for episode 7 of Shady Shadows over Shadowshade. The best name ever. Starring Reinhold, Otto, and Wrecker. All right, so where we left off, let's jump back to the local map. Where we left off, you guys were up near Philton on the outskirts. You had waylaid a little caravan, can't call it a caravan, a little wagon of supplies headed for the wizard Zeldun's tower. And you killed everyone and then looked through the stuff, and I think you were disappointed to find there wasn't anything other than mundane food and other sundries that you might expect to find in any common wagon delivery. So that was where we stopped, and as I recall, you guys were talking about just saying screw it and go confront the wizard.
Yes.
So there you are. Take it away.
The sound
All right. Don't take it away. Are you guys just going to head down that way, or is there more discussion to be had? Or what do you want to do?
Otto would bring it. So how is this going to work? We are just going to call him out? I don't think that will appease the old man. I don't think he's going to come down for us. How are we going to get access to this man? Obviously, and he kind of looks at the two apprentices, you will have to help us.
Yeah, Colette seems impassive when you say that. Percival, you see, he definitely looks a little nervous at that statement. And he says, what do you expect us to do?
Well, open the door. I think that's all we need, really.
Oh. Well, I expect we can do that.
As long as we have access to the old man, I guess it'll go where it goes from there.
I would prefer if he maybe came down the stairs and talked to us. Walking straight on into a wizard's lair could be hazardous to us all.
Otto nods. Well, yes, if that is possible, certainly have him come downstairs, but it doesn't seem like he does that much,
No. Colette says he doesn't like it down in our little rat's nest, as he calls it.
Otto looks to Reinhold and then back to Wrecker and says, do you think he has any traps or nonsense that could get us killed up there?
Wrecker just totally immediately jumps before she can respond, and he's like, he's a wizard, of course he does. The entire tower's probably ensorcered.
He rubs his chin and looks to Reinhold. Well, what can we do about it then? Do you have any gifts that you have learned to aid us? And be reasonable, boy.
I could sense magic, but I may just simply sense his presence. Beyond
So what
that,
do we
I'm not
do?
sure.
What do we do if he begins to turn us into newts, toads, sends lightning at our heads?
You stick a blade through his heart. Like any man, you stick a blade through his heart.
He rubs his chin and kind of nods.
If it comes to blows, he can't kill all of us. Probably.
Well, that is reassuring.
Nonetheless, if it comes to a fight, I say we circle around him, like wolves upon the bear.
Otto sighs heavily and looks at the bow in his hand that he took from the guards, and I probably will need to practice with this. He kind of looks at it awkwardly. I guess there's nothing else to say then. We try to get him to come down. If not, we go up.
I think that is the best course of action we have left.
I suggest who among these two he favors the most be the one to break the news that he has 3 people downstairs waiting to talk and won't take no for an answer, because it's a serious matter.
Do we even tell him, or do they ask him to come down on another pretense?
That would just upset him, I think.
Let's be serious. He's going to be upset regardless.
More upset if he's lied to.
Well, very well. I just worry about him locking the door if he is told that we are there and he does not want to see us, and then we go up and then the door is locked and we sit there and do nothing. But my son, you know these matters of wizards more than I, so I leave it to you and Wrecker.
I don't think we have much other recourse but to go confront this man, regardless of how it turns out.
Perhaps you can use your fancy words on him.
I can try.
Use the fact that the Sons of Simon are involved. Maybe we could pretend to be emissaries. That might draw his initial interest down.
Perhaps.
And these two need do no more than simply say, three men from the Sons of Simon are here to see him. He did write a note, after all, insisting that they lend him aid. Maybe he would think we were an envoy, with further questions.
Yes, it depends on what aid he was asking for.
Regardless, we would have the sheep's clothing that all wolves deserve.
What do you think, Reinhold?
It doesn't seem like a bad idea. You can be awfully convincing when you blabber away.
Well, I suppose the question will be, how angry will he be when he realizes we are not from Simon?
If he realizes.
I mean, it is quite easy for him to ask a question I do not know the answer to. I do not know what this relationship entails. All he has to do is ask some sort of detail of what he is wanting to know, and I will not be able to tell him.
Just be vague, Father.
Yeah,
Don't get into specifics unless he forces you to.
Yeah, Wrecker chuckles and pops Otto on the shoulder and laughs, scoffs. And he's like, "Ha!" He says, "The ruse is nothing more than the bait on the hook. All we need is him down the stairs. The rest will take care of itself."
Very well. Be ready with your sword, then, to stab. I'm sure that there will be bloodshed tonight, or whenever we get there.
As always, I will be.
And he sighs and looks at the two apprentices and starts walking.
Did either of those notes have a name from the people in town?
One was from Zeldun, and one was, well, they were both from Zeldun to Simon.
Simon. Okay. So
well,
Simon,
one of them I can't read right. It's wingdings, but
okay. So Simon, we could say that Simon has sent 3 men with questions.
I could say I was Hans Saltzman.
Might be a
Unless he
little bit
knows
too
him.
specific.
He might know him. Yeah, you're right.
Because if you want, we could try to get them to act really convincingly. It seems it's Master Simon from town has sent 3 men with questions, and they need you to come downstairs.
Yeah, I can just tell him who I am. I'm Otto, right? I mean, Otto from Philton. I know the details about the town and whatnot. So,
because in theory, there's no saying that he's automatically going to go, "Oh God, they know too much."
yeah.
He's going to be like, "What is it then?" And then when you tell him, you go, "Huh?" And then you can explain further about what all has gone on and what they might be involved in. Then, if he shows his true colors, we're got a fight on our hands. If not, we might be able to swim.
Yeah. All right, that's fine.
All right, it sounds like maybe you're heading down now.
Yeah.
All right. You guys travel, get to your favorite camping spot by the end of the day there.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone can make a perception roll with a Bane, please.
Yeah.
There you go.
Hey!
Ooh.
That's pretty good.
That was excellently good. Okay, so you guys you've had your camp set up and you're settling down for the evening. And Wrecker, as you probably are typically likely to do, you are going to take a first watch. And so you're kind of setting up for that. And you sort of hear low voices. You thought everyone was kind of settled in and going to bed, and you hear some low voices coming from just a little bit outside of camp, deeper in the woods.
Immediately go to, what's the girl's name?
Colette?
Immediately go to Colette, put my hand over her mouth and nose, and then when she wakes up and sees it's me, I got the finger over her lip going, shh.
Okay. You go to her bedroll and it is empty.
Oh, shit. Okay, go to Reinhold's and then kick Otto while I'm doing the same with Reinhold.
Yeah,
okay.
Otto complains and gets up to his knees.
Because looks like our two. Oh wait! Oh, quickly! I'll scan over at the guy's bedroll as I'm doing this too. He's gone too.
Yeah, his bedroll is empty as well.
Colette and the other, they're leaving us. Don't make any noise, but we have to get them.
Yeah, Otto throws up his hands and just waits for Wrecker to kind of tell him what to do.
Hoping you'll tell him to go back to sleep.
Yeah. you just don't worry about it. You go back to bed.
Yeah.
Me and the boy, no. Fine. I would get up and grab my trusty staff.
I'll point him in the direction I heard it coming from, and as father and son make their way in that direction, I'll try to do the whole stealth hunter predator thing alongside of them.
Okay.
Yeah, Otto does have the bow with him that he's been practicing with a little bit in camp, which is
you've figured out that you pull the string and not the wood part.
But the wood part has more weight.
You're making good progress. So yeah, and actually as you start heading into the wood, you actually hear their voices. They're not that far away. And Wrecker, since you're sort of leading the predator way, you can make is it stealth? I always forget. Agility.
Yeah, agility.
And I'll give you a boon because this is kind of your thing. And it's dark.
No.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
There was
You
that
can use a
stick.
fate point if you want.
Goddamn sticks.
I don't know how many I have left. Jeez.
Yeah, they're called fortune in this
Oh,
game.
fortune.
I think.
That's
Not
fortune,
that it
that's right.
matters.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I don't even have any for you. I don't remember, to be honest, whether you spent yours or not.
I spent them over time. I don't know if they replenish per session or not.
No.
They do not. No, you only get one every level. They're very precious, rare resources. So
Yeah, I'm out.
Okay.
Then.
all right, yeah, you're creeping forward, and I'll let you all make a regular perception check, just for the end there. Ooh, Otto, good. Okay, well, everybody except Wrecker.
I'm busy.
Yeah,
I'm busy.
That balloon sword ready.
I'm busy beating the hell out of the stick I just stepped on.
Yeah, exactly. You can, as you're approaching, you hear Colette saying, "I don't know that we have a choice." And then the loud twig snap, and she kind of looks over in your direction and says, "Who's there?"
My cover's blown. I'll stride out.
Okay.
I go, the better question is, why are you traipsing off in secret?
We just wanted to have a talk. And you can see, even in the dark, Reinhold, you can kind of see Percival is sort of squirming a little bit. He looks quite dismayed.
A talk? What about?
Betraying us, perhaps?
Not betraying you, says Colette. Percival is rightly worried what will happen to all of us if we anger our master.
Well, once you have us in front of him, you can leave. I would not think unworthy of you if you did.
Aye, if there's a quarrel to be, it is between us and him, not yourselves. We just need you to get us in there.
She says, "You don't know what quarrel I might have with him."
Well, if you wish to stand with us against him, I would not stop you either.
She says, "Truthfully, I have not made up my mind what I must do yet."
It'll be a great surprise for all of us when the time comes then.
Percival, his voice is a little shaky, and he said, "It's easy for you to talk about doing what has to be done." He's talking to you guys now. And he said, "But you didn't see what we saw, how he changed that tower with his mind."
Well, then tell us then. What did he do?
Colette says there's not much to tell, except when we arrived, the tower was a bare ruin, barely standing. And within 2 days, it is as you see it now. We watched him with his mind command stones to reform.
We do not intend to fight the wizard unless he forces our hand. We hope not to have to, though we'll be prepared if we must.
Aye, it seems that we merely need to make sure that he knows that he's in the league with demon worshippers. If so, perhaps break the alliance between them and become allies. if he is what they call infernal himself, then by all the gods, we should rid him of this planet.
Colette says, I don't know if he is infernal or not. Although it's funny you should say that, for there is fire in his eyes when he's upset. But I do know that he is a man consumed with whatever he is doing. Whatever his mission that he has not told us, he is entirely devoted to it.
Sounds
I
to
don't
me.
know how involved these sons of Simon are with this.
Perhaps we could replace the Sons of Simon in whatever deal they have with the wizard, though he sends some message to someone that could read it. And so there is another with skills and powers such as his, and he kind of looks at Reinhold, wondering if he has been able to read any more of the letter.
Have I?
You've not really had much of a chance
Yeah.
to pore over it again.
Fair enough.
You were traveling, and now you're kind of resting. So
Otto shrugs. No one said this course of action was certain, but for the three of us, we have little choice left. Besides fleeing to some place, somewhere. But I have vengeance on my itinerary.
Colette turns to Percival and says, as they said, if things get out of hand, of course you must run and save yourself. And he says, well, I'm not going anywhere if you don't. And she said, don't be silly. Of course you will. And she says, I suppose our little chat is over. We should get back to camp and sleep.
Otto
And she
yawns.
just kind of walks past you back toward the camp, and Percival kind of is left standing there for a moment, and he just kind of hunches his shoulder over, looks a little miserable, and follows after her.
Do not worry, boy, Otto says. This will all turn out well. I have a feeling. And he flashes this crooked smile.
He just kind of looks at you, and there's this despairing look on his face, and he just kind of keeps on walking.
As he walks, he just kind of turns to the other two and shrugs.
I just shake my head and walk back to go back to sleep.
Yeah, Rucker's face is grim and lost in thought. Thinking in my head, this guy might be a typical wizard who craves power. And I'm thinking the Sons of Simon might unknowingly be in league with them under the lure of gaining power, because that's the whole thing that demons did, especially in the fantasy novels, is they lure you in saying, I'll give you great power, but that's how they worm their way in and corrupt you. That's what my gut's telling me.
Yeah, or he's working on some sort of experiment or research that...
Well, yeah. Most of them have their own theory. Yeah, most wizards are academic by nature. They have their own theories and projects they want to work on, and if they run into a friggin' writer's block equivalent, it'd be like, okay, well, here, we'll give you the power and the knowledge at the cost of your soul.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Hopefully he's not unreproachable,
I guess we'll find out.
All right. The night passes without further event.
Wrecker will try to be the first one up, make sure they're still in bed.
Yeah, they're still there. And you can continue on the next day. I assume you're taking a wide berth around the Abbey and around
Shadowshade, yeah.
Shadowshade. Are you going to try to push to make it to the tower by nightfall, or are you going to camp and approach in the morning?
I think a camp and approach. We want to be in good form if we're going to do this.
Yeah, I'm in no particular hurry.
Okay. All right.
If we're gonna camp close at night, I want to be first to bed and take last watch, because at late hours is that's what my gut's done. If anything's gonna happen, it's gonna be in the late hours.
Okay. The night passes uneventfully, and you wake in the morning, and it's a nice sunny day.
Kick Otto away.
You're already injuring me before we might have to fight for our lives. If my ribs are bruised, how can I defend myself?
Nothing hurt but your pride. Now get up. We have work to do.
Yes. I do not have my morning coffee. And he kind of like grunts and gets to his feet.
Morning coffee or morning wine?
Either would be good right now. They probably have taken all our good wine back at the house. And he kind of grunts.
Wrecker will just crack a couple eggs open and dump them in his mouth raw.
Otto gives him a revolted kind of gasp.
Nothing but berries and porridge for this lad.
Yeah. Crams his face full of porridge and...
Your colon and prostate will thank you.
Oh.
Gotta take care of it while you're young. Don't want to start late.
Off to see the wizard, I suppose.
All right. You approach the tower.
I'm looking up with shield ready in case anything comes flying down.
Molten fireball.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, that's a bit ominous for music.
There you are in front of the tower. If you look down a bit, the door is the double doors are closed, as they were the first time you came here. And you see Colette kind of approach with you. You're not sure, maybe a little trepidation. And she goes to the door, and she starts making signs in front of the door with her hands and muttering something quietly under her breath. And Percival just kind of waits expectantly. And after a little bit of this, the door pops open. And she just pushes it in noiselessly and proceeds in.
Here we go.
And what are you all doing?
I'm walking in next to Wrecker.
At least you're not behind him.
I am.
Oh, I'm ready. I'm ready to jump behind him.
Reinhold is behind. Okay, so Reinhold and Percival bring up the rear. Colette kind of walks in. You guys are behind her, and she looks around. up till now, the look on her face was fairly resolute. You saw, she was quiet and determined. You can see now there's kind of a glint of nervousness in her eyes as she looks around, and she does seem a little concerned or worried. And she turns back and whispers to Otto, or actually to Wrecker, and says, "How do you wish to proceed?"
Are you gonna? Yeah, we're here as Simon.
Wrecker just looks at her.
I just wanted to confirm more than anything to that we're going to do the plan. We're going to say that Simon has sent 3 emissaries to speak with him.
Yep.
Okay. Go upstairs and tell your master that the Simon from, what's the town that we just came from?
Philton.
Yeah, that Simon from Philton has sent 3 men here to speak with him.
All right, wait here, she says, and she kind of takes a deep breath and heads up the stairs slowly. And
is Percival going with her?
Disappears. No, he is not.
Come on, you knew that was.
Wait till she gets to the top of the stairs and look back and look at him and look at the 2 of y'all, and then just grab him. And
she actually doesn't even look back as she's going up. She just heads up the stairs.
Yeah, wait till she's out of sight and then look back at him and just like drag him and push him in the room, and he goes, "Make sure she's safe."
And he says he doesn't ever let the 2 of us up there at the same time, he said.
She'll be fine. Nothing he can do if not.
He kind of looked at the floor when you said she'll be fine, and then when you said nothing he can do if not, he kind of gives you a wounded, maybe little angry look when you say that, but doesn't say anything, and then just kind of turns and sort of wanders over to their little their little sad setup over here.
Yeah, Otto ignores any sort of wounded look.
I want to keep Percival near. That way, if I have to use him as a shield, I can.
He's a little big to use as a shield, but you could probably pick him up.
Yeah, like if I see missiles or something come flying down at me.
Put a couple belts around his waist and chest, and use those for shield straps, and just pick him up.
He's a 2-handed shield.
Yeah. Okay. Reinhold, are you actually kind of still waiting in the doorway?
Shit. No.
I just wasn't sure. Okay.
I'm waiting behind Wrecker while he's getting Percival set up to be used as a human shield.
Okay. She is gone for a little while. How long are you going to wait before doing something other than stand here?
Until she comes back.
If that's 5 weeks, you're going to wait there?
No.
I mean, like an hour or so? I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, so about an hour. Okay. Well, she does come back before an hour is up. But it was close to about that. And she is on the stairs, and she kind of comes down, and she has a little bit of a shaken look about her, you think. And she comes over and she says he is not happy, of course, but he has agreed to speak with one of the emissaries. She
One.
had little air quotes.
Otto looks at Reinhold and Record. That is a problem.
There's nothing to say we couldn't all still go in anyway.
Yes, that is what I was thinking.
Nothing saying all of us can't go up the stairs either.
We can just say something along the lines that Simon requires us to all be there. He kind of shrugs.
She says I was given instructions to wait with the emissary at the landing at the top of the stairs until he calls for us.
And your master, he lives at the top of the tower?
He does.
How
Well,
tall is this?
not-
About how?
Not
How long?
top.
Yeah, how long would you think it would take to run up the stairs if we had to?
All the way to the very top. She says probably about 5 minutes, maybe less.
You can wait, or someone can wait on the stairs nearby, just not on the landing. No reason to start from here.
Yeah, we could give y'all a head start and try to creep up and wait, like below the half mark.
Yeah, Otto looks at the both of you and he says, "So which one of you are going to go in?"
And I'm gonna look at Record and look back at him. It seems like the one with the silver tongue should be the one who goes in.
You know more about these people than us two. They have your wife after all.
I will be no use if I am incinerated.
Well, then say nothing that would get you as such, Father.
I might not need to say anything.
Sorry.
No good.
Yeah, sorry, Zephyr is blind. I didn't realize that. Okay. Yeah, keep going. I'm just going to set up Zephyr here. Zephyr.
I suppose, if I must, even though I think that perhaps a wizard to a wizard might be more interesting for the old man.
He may find me threatening to him, though it is doubtful.
Very well, I'll do it, I suppose. If I die here today, I will haunt you for the rest of eternity.
As you walk by Wrecker, he'll put a hand on your shoulder, and it's not a hit or a slap or a hearty one. It's actually very sincere and serious. And he just looks at you. He says, I'm sure that, he says, we've already lied once. No need to do it anymore. Tell the man the truth and judge his reactions from that. If we hear your cries of death, we will avenge you. This I swear.
Otto just... Oh, yes. Well... And he looks at Reinhold and he says, "If I do die, remember that these bastards killed your mother. Remember what you must do. It's the last thing I ask of you."
I would nod. Solemnly.
Very well, then. I hope you can get the door open if he closes it behind me. He was saying that more to Colette and Percival than anyone.
She doesn't say anything except to say we should not keep him waiting.
Yes, well, let's go then.
And she starts to head up the stairs.
Follow us at some distance then. Talking to the others.
Mm-hmm.
You want to take opposing stairs?
Yes.
I'll take the right. Oh.
Okay. All right. I'm going to move you over. Actually, I'm going to make a copy of you so you can see both places at once, because you really could see both places. So you are at the, if you go to the right, you can see you're at the head of the land, you're at the landing at least, and you can see the steps go further up.
Mm-hmm.
And it is quiet at the moment.
Otto was just pacing back and forth, like, kind of mumbling to himself.
Yes. Colette just stands silently. And you hear the sound of a door opening somewhere up there. And footsteps sort of echoing on the stone floors. And a man... and this man appears at the head of the steps.
Otto, like, gives him a pretty formal bow.
Okay. Yeah, he looks rather nonplussed and unimpressed, but he just kind of stands there, and he says, "Why have you come? I made it specifically clear at the beginning of this arrangement that I would not be disturbed. You would contact me only through letters. I don't like contact with people, especially people beneath me. What's your business? State it quickly, and it must be urgent, or you will have angered me."
I do not wish to anger you, great Zeldun. However, I am here at the behest of many people in these areas beneath you, true, but still their lives hang in the balance.
Get to the point.
The
Good
point
Lord.
The point is, great Zeldun, that you see the sons of Simon, they are bringing a great evil into this world.
He looks at you very curiously.
I have seen it with my own eyes. And yes, great Zeldun, unfortunately, I forced your apprentice here to bring me to you so I might speak to you and inform you of these things so you do not make a grave mistake.
He glances at Colette, and you actually, even from here, you see for a moment the pupils of his eyes turn red and seem to dance like flames. And then he looks back at you and frowns.
And he just would go on. He says, I was in Philton not so long ago, and yes, I was a member of the Sons of Simon, but no more because of what I have beheld in their souls and hearts and what they have brought to life. You see, Zeldun, one thing that I have seen is them bring the dead back to life in a hideous imitation of what they were when they drew breath. They performed horrid acts of evil, no doubt. They wish to bring something into the world that will destroy us all. The Devourer. That is what they call it. I am not wise like you. But this is their goal.
He says, if you're going to throw around words like evil, you should go chase down those priests I saw pass by a few days ago. They'll help you, I'm sure. But I have no interest in Such nonsense.
Do you have interest in your own life?
Of course I do.
Of course you do. That is why I'm here, for your life will be taken like everyone else's. That
will
is
not.
their plan.
The sons of Simon are foolish. They have no idea what they're doing. They are bent on their own destruction, and I'm sure they will achieve it.
Undoubtedly. So, what do you need them for?
Practical matters. They are useful. Nothing more.
In what way? I am also useful.
Are you?
I was wise enough and smart enough to get this audience. How many other men have you seen in these long years that have gotten to this point? Have I not proved some sort of
He says,
cleverness?
do not boast of annoying me with your clever little ploy. That is hardly a matter to be impressed with.
My only...
But
Yeah, good.
if you are well positioned to supply me with all that I need, perhaps we could discuss an arrangement.
What is it you need?
I am loath to abandon the arrangement I already have, which is, with some bumps and hitches, at least working for now.
But for how long? They are going to destroy themselves, are they not?
In good time, I'm sure they will. Seems to be all they care about.
Indeed. I care about mutual benefits. I want nothing from you other than to disagree with Simon and not aid them. What do you get? What do they get from you? You get supplies?
That is between myself and the sons.
I see.
He says, so far, I'm afraid you've given me no great compelling reason to make enemies of my former friends, if you'd call them that.
Well, how can I offer you what I can give you if you do not tell me what you need?
I need nothing more than common supplies and a network that can deliver messages for me when necessary.
Well, I certainly can do that, and I am closer. I run the Shadowshade Mercantile Company, and I have contacts in Philton.
I'm afraid I've never heard of your little outfit.
Isn't that a good thing?
Well, I also do not know the name of the farmer who lives in Shadowshade. That does not mean he is useful to me.
Do I sound like a farmer to you, sir? Look at my hands. There's not a callus on them.
You sound a bit like one, perhaps.
I don't think you've met too many farmers, then.
Well, why should I?
Exactly. It is ghastly. I agree.
What is your name?
Otto Leitdorf.
Well, Otto Leitdorf, prepare for me in writing a proposal of what you could deliver to me. I have common needs as far as food. I require a constant stream of writing equipment and implements, other sorts of sundries that one might need about a household. And of course, I need whatever these two need. Assuming, of course, I take them back after their unapproved absences lately.
Of course.
Kind of glares at her. And of
Yeah.
course, what you want from me in exchange, because I'm sure you're not proposing to do this out of the goodness of your heart.
No, of course not. But you will find it, I'm sure, less vexing than the sun's.
I hope you're right, Otto of Lieddorf. He says, and now you have exhausted my patience. When you have made your proposal, deliver it to Colette, and she shall deliver it to me, and you will have my answer. Good day, Otto Lieddorf. And he walks away.
And Otto, basically, as he turns, he had this kind of boastful sort of, it was standing straight and, shoulders back, and then when he kind of, walks away, he kind of, slumps forward, oh my god. And then turns to her and just, puts a hand on his face and rubs his beard and shakes his head and walks back down the stairs.
Okay. And Colette follows after. Percival is waiting very anxiously at the foot of the steps. But he has a look of relief when you all come back down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Otto begins with, well, that could have went worse.
What did you discover?
Unfortunately, not much. It is clear he is no fan of the Sons of Simon and knows they are up to, well, some sort of no good. I was not able to find out what he gives them, which was of great import. I offered to take their place in supplying him. He kind of rubs his beard. I need to write him a proposal for what we can supply him and what we expect in return for him to break ties with Simon.
So we are no further to discovering their true nature, then.
Not yet, unless we can procure this contract. And even then, I am not sure he will tell us, although that would be a part of my request in the proposal.
I suppose you should get writing, then.
He nods and he's like, yes, but this is all. And he just, looks at him like, I can't. We'll never be able to. And he just kind of
Well, we have one shipment available right away. The one we had already taken. That will cover him for some time.
Yes, of course. And he looks
what did you do with all of that?
I'm sure we brought it with us.
Yeah, no need to leave it.
Oh, okay. All right. That it actually would have taken you a little longer to get here, taking the wagon off the roads to go the long way around, but that's okay. Not that big a deal. Okay.
Yeah, so, well, very well. Go take inventory of what's in the cart, first of all. And then he looks at Colette. Do you have any writing apparatuses? A quill, ink, paper?
She leads you over to her little desk over here. And she says, help yourself to my scarce implements.
Yes, thank you. And he like goes over there and begins writing. He tries to come up with things that are reasonable, specific things. He said, food, writing implements. He will add like materials, and he's like, and what do you two want? And he's like, within reason.
Oh yes, she'll just put kind of rattle off a little litany of a few things that they have. It's pretty humble.
Yeah, he writes it.
Clearly, he does not figure them much in the budget.
Yeah, and he basically looks at the items that were sent and tries to make it better than that in some way. I'm not sure what they sent, but like he tries to make it look like that he can definitely send more stuff.
Yeah, you're the merchant.
Yeah,
they're just a bunch of dumb cultists.
Yeah, that's right. And he would write it in such a way that make it very like kind of like accounting type of sort of to kind of like make it fancy. Show his intelligence, right, and that kind of thing.
Yeah. Right.
And yeah, he does that. And for what he wants to know what they were giving to the Sons of Simon, any information he has on Sons of Simon, and then a very a pittance of a fee, basically.
Oh, no.
All right.
But very small.
Oh no.
A small fee.
Travel expenses.
Yes.
Yeah, I got the very end.
Tell us all about this dark cult. Oh, can you give us like 10 pennies to take?
Yeah, so he's like writing it down. He's writing all the stuff about the Son of Simon, and you're like, and then he starts like putting down like a fee in there at the very end.
No.
Yeah. Well, of course.
I'm happy I don't see you doing this.
And then he folds it and he says, "Yes, I think that's his what we can offer." And he hands it over to Colette.
All right.
And then he also says like basically that he can get it there faster because they're closer, et cetera, even though that's kind of a lie. But this is all kind of a lie.
Yeah,
this is all kind of a lie.
The rest of the entire fucking rest of the paper. Because that's never gonna happen.
All right. Yeah. Colette said, "Well, I did tell him that we I had to tell him that the shipment was lost again. That's one of the reasons he was most angry with me."
Very well, we will keep it and then deliver it as, well, a savior. Sounds good.
She takes the letter and heads up the steps. And now you may roll your intellect with a boon to see how well you put this proposal together.
Oh God! I have one fate point left. I'm pretty sure.
Hopefully you won't need it.
Nope.
And you sure as fuck don't. He's a bada.
It is the best work, your best business proposal you have probably ever written.
Nice.
under pressure, you're
He's a real merchant after all.
Yeah. He walks over to the rest of them. I think it will be okay. I believe I wrote eloquently.
Yeah, you may actually not be sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. He says that with a hint of I think.
She comes down about an hour later again, and she looks like a little stunned. And she says, he's agreed, provisionally at least. He said he said there was nowhere in your proposal about being able to deliver communications for him, and that concerns him. But he said he is willing to continue using the Sons of Simon as his errand boys, if you will, as the words he used, to get his messages back and forth from the crossings. But will you to supply himself?
Yes, tell him I can deal with that as well. And the communications, he's like, I would just need Percival here to aid us, if that is acceptable.
Aid us in what way?
Well, he
Percival?
will need to go into Philton because I cannot. But don't say that, obviously.
Into Philton? She says, Colette says, no, I think you misunderstand. He needs to communicate with his colleagues in the crossings, which is quite some distance from here. It is where we come from. Our families are there.
I see. And
Actually, I can show you the map again if you want a reference point.
Yeah, please.
So you guys are
no
here.
No.
The entirety of the map and the crossings is way over in the west there. Yes, that is a very lengthy journey.
I think that you're just gonna have to take the loss on that one, Dad.
I have an idea.
Oh shit.
Not not in this, but I'll explain it later. Yeah, we'll see.
Hold on there. That should... Yep.
He says, "Oh, I see. Well, I cannot fly, and Reinhold can't either yet." And he kind of like rolls his eyes a little bit. That'll be fine for now. Tell him I will work on that, and perhaps one day I can service him in both ways.
All right, then. I will tell him you are agreed.
And so let me ask, when will he provide his end of the bargain, do you think? You do not need to ask him that, obviously.
Oh, I'm sorry, there was that one provision. He said that he cannot divulge that information to you, but he will give you a higher fee and make it worth your while.
He looks to the others and...
He said to convey to you that under no circumstance would he ever discuss the nature of his communications with you.
I see. Very well. And he thinks in his head, and he basically adds a couple zeros to the fee.
All right. She says, very well. He said, assuming you agreed to his amendments, he wanted you to supply him as quickly as you could, given the fact that the shipment we already paid for was lost, and he said he would compensate you on delivery.
Yes, of course. We will.
He said no more will he advance money or trust us to carry money across over land to its destination, as we've lost it twice now.
Yes, that won't be a problem. We have the cart. We'll just deliver it in a day or so.
All right. And Percival says to her, and what about us? And she says, we are to remain in his employ for now. Though I suspect he will give us the brunt of his displeasure for some time. And Percival just kind of nods and walks away. And Colette says, well, you have your arrangement. What now? Or
That is a good
and
question.
she actually says it in a pretty quiet voice. Like she
Yeah.
kind of looked over her shoulder up the steps and says, what now?
Yeah, and he walks towards the exit and speaks slowly and says,
Mm-hmm.
yes, I'm not sure. Right now, we should stay away for a couple days and bring back the shipment to start. And then we will need to figure out what to do. My guess is that Simon, well, my guess is that your master will want to send a message. And then we will intercept that message and see what it says, and then go from there, perhaps.
She says, I'm not so sure he'll send one. He does not send them frequently, and we just delivered one in this last delivery.
I do not know then. And he looks at Reinhold and Record. What do you think?
It is possible the Sons of Simon will attempt to get into contact with him, assuming that we can complete some deliveries and they don't hear back from him from some time.
Yes, eventually. Then we will kill them.
The question is, how are we going to supply enough deliveries between now and then? Perhaps the fishing village outside of Philton? Though
Yes,
I don't think that's going to be higher quality goods.
Yes. We will need to figure that out. I was hoping to take one of these two to sneak into Shadowshade and procure our items for us. But it does not look like that is happening. Perhaps, well, I have some ideas, and they are, well, quite a bit more boastful than this one. And dangerous, too, and... yes, I don't know.
She says, keep your voice down. Perhaps you should not discuss it here.
Yes, we will be going. We will be back in 2 days.
In truth, I do not know what he can hear. Sometimes it seems he has ears in the walls. So she just kind of gently ushers you towards the door.
Yeah, we'll be back in 2 days with the shipment. He leaves.
All right. Is Wrecker going too?
Yeah, he'll follow through. Just
Okay.
trying to think.
Yep. Okay. And she closes the doors behind you.
Perhaps we should have resorted to violence.
Back in the world.
Oh, one more thing.
Even if we did resort to violence, I do not believe it would have helped us much. We needed information out of him, not him dead.
He might have had information in his study.
Seems that we have become nothing more than his errand boys, and none the wiser for it.
Well, the one thing we have at least paused is him aiding Simon. He will deal with us primarily for the shipments, and so hopefully that keeps him from helping them.
Yes, but how are we going to do such a thing when we have no homes to call our own anymore?
Yes, I did not say we were going to be able to be successful. It's just a delay for now. The only thing I can think is we sneak into Shadowshade and steal back what is ours, and other things too, perhaps. Or I was thinking, that young lord, the lord's son, seems quite downtrodden and not so pleased with his father. If we could convince him to side with us, well...
You really wish to play politics with nobility, even minor nobility?
I do not know what choice we have. We need
I have-
protection.
I have done worse.
At that point, we might as well rely on ourselves and just commit to brigandry to supply the wizard, if that's what you'd like to do.
I would not be opposed to that, but we would have to assume there are shipments going back and forth that we can steal.
I would not feel comfortable stealing from the common folk. If it was a fat and prosperous noble, yes, they could do without a bite or two to eat. But the villagers, I'm not so comfortable with.
Yes, I do not plan on stealing their pendants. That would not satisfy his demands anyway. If we can somehow strike a deal with the Lord...
Having worked as a mercenary, I have seen many a son overthrow their father to take the seat of power. Perhaps he wishes nothing more than his old man gone.
I think the man is close to gone anyway. Should have been dead years ago.
Why would he even be convinced to stick out whatever end of the bargain he makes with us, once he has what he wants?
Well, we have the wizard's ear. We have... We can either... Your friend, Mirsa. We know that she killed that woman. Information is power. She did not seem likely to help us, so... He shrugged.
She also said that she would probably never see us again. Gods know if she's turned herself into one of those creatures already or not.
So then we give him that information, and then it's a red herring, and so be it. Also, I'm wondering about this church. Do you think a church would be pleased that there's some devil worshippers in Philton that is influencing their lord? I think not.
I think they would be unlikely to believe us, especially after that party of men has come down, seeking to imprison us.
Having blown your wife's killer's brains against the stones, could prove troublesome for you to gain an audience.
I wasn't planning on asking for one. We sneak into the young lord's bedchamber somehow, and have a discussion. I don't know what else to do. The wizard? We are not getting much help from him. Mirsa, no help whatsoever. Who else can we turn to? We can do these things, or we can flee.
Or we could attempt to get back into Philton and go to the bookstore.
That is a dangerous proposition, and not one I am eager to attempt, knowing that monstrosity and how it crept up upon me, knowing where I was moments after I left that cell, after Hans told me I was safe, which I tend to believe him. He was gloating over me, clearly. 10 minutes later, after I felled him, this beast was upon me. It is some sort of supernatural devilry.
But we do know that that bookstore is the key to understanding our enemy. Rather than dealing with the treachery of nobles or the lack of assistance we're receiving everywhere else, perhaps we rely on ourselves, as we have thus far, sneak into the bookstore, discover our enemy's intentions, and deal with them accordingly.
Perhaps, but they know that I know about the bookstore, so I assume either it would be well guarded, or they move any important information from there. And how do we
Perhaps
get
not.
in regardless?
I believe you have some friends nearby that might be willing to get you in if they have a cart. Not to mention...
I'm not going in there alone, I'll tell you that much.
No, we would all go in. Of course. No reason for any of us to stay behind. I don't think the Sons of Simon would even move the bookstore. They're very, as you said when Hans was speaking with you, gloaty, self-assured. I don't think they expect their plans to fail even with us on the run. It's unlikely they would have even bothered to move, not to mention that would inconvenience them.
Yes, perhaps. I just worry about this devil roaming the streets. Once I return to Philton, it is upon me, and then I have no eyes. You were not there, Reinhold. It was ghastly.
We'll kill it.
Pah. I'll run. It looks
Then
like
run
your
and
mother.
Wrecker and
It
I shall
talks
kill
like your mother. It looks like your mother. It's quite eerie.
The sooner you come to the truth that we are all dead men if caught, the sooner you'll realize that it's best that we choose the way we die as opposed to run and flee every chance we get. I myself grow tired of these Sons and Simons and all the confusion that your previous circumstances have caused upon me. I would take the fight to them. I say we use stealth and distraction, force our way into the bookstore and demand answers.
I wished I knew who else was a part of the Sons of Simon, then we could perhaps do an abduction of them.
Kill a few, torture others if we have to. Find the information, squeeze the grape, you'll make wine eventually.
That is not a bad idea. You know that the bookstore owner, and I don't know his name, but this man certainly knows someone. If we take him captive, perhaps we put the knife to him, and then he will tell us what we need to know.
Take this food and supplies, throw it to the poor people out front, cause a riot. The guards come to break the riot up, we sneak into town.
Or we deliver the supplies to the wizard, take the empty cart.
Fuck the wizard.
Yes, I tend to agree with Wrecker, though. Any delay we can have, if I do not come back with the shipment soon, the wizard will end up perhaps harming Colette and the boy, and sending a message directly to Simon.
And what do you care if he does? You were using them anyway.
I prefer not to have people hurt on my behalf. It's already happened. Plus, I think the girl likes you.
I'm not concerned about what she thinks. I'm concerned about seeing this done. That is what I'm concerned about. If we can secure the aid of the poor folk near the river to get us into town, I think we should do it.
Yes, perhaps, but I would like to deliver the supplies anyway. It will just pause things. It would keep the wizard out of our head for a little while longer.
But then what do we have to secure the assistance of the poor folk, other than your words?
Well, the poor folk, we have already given them coin, and I'm assuming I still have a decent amount of coin on me.
Yeah.
I have coin to pay them off.
Spent it on anything.
I haven't been able to. I mean, I have money to buy them her loyalty for now, as I did then, and I haven't even went back to collect yet, so they owe me a bit. So money for now. They can drape us over in fish guts under that and wheel us into Philton if we want. I say we supply the wizard and then head up to Philton, and then I suppose see if we die.
I see no other good options other than to try that. Direct to our enemy.
I am displeased that this has come to this.
Wrecker just spits on the ground and starts stomping off.
Well, let us make camp then, and for a day and a half or so, to make it realistic that we brought this cart back.
All right, that sounds reasonable. So you camp out. Reinhold, you would then have quite a bit of time to try to crack that message if you want.
Oh,
so
shit, sure.
why don't you attempt again an intellect check with one bane, and we'll see how that goes. In fact,
Poorly.
very poorly.
I'm thinking about a fortune for that. Bear with
Gets
me.
so fed up.
You have time for another attempt. If you're gonna wait for a couple of days, I'm gonna give. There's only so much, especially if you fail that badly. I think you would have given up in frustration the first day, just very annoyed, and you're sick of looking at it and going over it. But you'd be ready to try again the following day, so you can go ahead.
Hey,
all right, 20. Okay, in fact, it's the middle of the night, and you wake up, and you have this like sudden revelation, this sudden idea. It's almost like you were dreaming that stupid cipher. And you just wake up and you have this idea, and you kind of crazily jump up and start working on it, and suddenly it all starts to come together. So I will put that in your journal.
I was going to say with a 1, he gets so mad he rips the note up.
Yeah. Exactly.
Uses a toilet paper.
Throw it in the
Almost.
fire.
Yeah, I might have.
I'll never figure this out.
Exactly. And then in the middle of the night, oh shit, wait a second.
It's the universal code. Up, up, down, down, left, right, left, right.
Yeah. Yes. Actually, I can share it with Otto as well, because you would have written it, the translation, like a transcription.
I'd just be chopping the shit out of some trees.
Yeah.
Oh,
Poor
angry.
Wrecker. Poor illiterate Wrecker.
The angry Wrecker. He's tired of running, don't want to live in a damn cave all his life.
Is that a map location? That fuck those numbers. Are those numbers? Is that something that's on a common map, or is that I not know?
You do not know what those numbers represent, but it's pretty clear that they are some sort of coordinates or location or something. But there is no such thing as a universal measurement for this. You're not even sure exactly what he's measured.
Mm-hmm. I'd share it with him, and whenever we would come together for the second, or I'd probably share it with him in the morning if it's at night, because I know that they're not going to want to hear it at night anyway.
Yeah. Although, with a 20, you might be so excited you just can't wake
him up.
You've been at this for days, right? It's like you keep going back to it, and each time you almost dread it because it's just so frustrating. But,
yeah, Otto is like, this is Nonsense. He just, shrugs. What does this mean?
It has some bearing on what's happening here, perhaps. The Star of Fire, I need to consult some reading so I can figure out what this means. This Star of Fire, and that's the interesting thing to me.
Well, perhaps when you return with the cart, you can ask Colette if she has any books associated with that.
It's doubtful they would be clued into his research, but it can't hurt, I suppose. Wrecker, any tales from your culture about the Star of Fire or something celestial?
The only fiery orb I know is the sun.
I'll have to study this more, but I feel this is important. I think that's it.
All right.
Yeah. So I guess we're gonna deliver the supplies and then head to Philton would be the
Okay.
overall goal.
You deliver the supplies. I assume you just pound on the front door.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yep. Colette comes and opens the door, and you who's at the door?
Me.
You can make a perception check, please. She normally looks pretty happy to see you. She does not look happy right now. You can tell that she is, something's bothering her. But she says, "Good, you have the goods. Let's get them inside. Percival, come help get this stuff inside." And he comes over.
Something troubles you.
It's no great matter. Probably.
Nonetheless, I am curious.
She just walks past you and goes to the cart and starts gathering up some things. I assume the rest of you are helping.
You assume wrong.
except for Otto. Yes, I should have said.
Record don't say nothing. He just grabs an armload.
Yeah.
At some point when we're going through this,
Yeah.
Colette.
When she walks by you, Reinhold, she doesn't make eye contact. She just kind of looks down or ahead and just kind of walks past you and goes inside and puts her stuff down and then tells Wrecker where to put his armloads of stuff down and then comes back out to keep working.
Yeah, when we finished up, I would approach her again.
Okay. And
your face is terrible at keeping a secret.
She looks at you and she says, "What? What do you want?"
Well, I have a few questions, and I also wish to know what's troubling you.
Well, you don't always get to know what you want to know. What's your question?
The Star of Fire. Anything sound familiar about that?
Star of Fire. I may have heard the old man mutter it once or twice. I don't know. Doesn't mean anything to me. Why?
Just one of my questions I had.
One of your questions. All right, what else?
Oh, my other question stands. You seem very upset, anxious, troubled. I'm curious to know why.
Of course you're curious. You're always curious. she kind of brushes past you and goes over to Otto. You can see she's very irritated. And she said, Otto, what is the plan now? I need to know what's going to happen next.
Well, a quite dangerous one. And he looks at her, and he kind of notices what's going on between Reinhold and her. Look, girl, we care about you. We want you to be okay. I know you have thrown your lot in with us, and that is...
She kind of sighs, and there's a little bit of exasperation, and she just says, Otto, just say what you have to say. What is the plan?
Well, and he looks at Reinhold and Wrecker. I think you should leave here in a day or so.
I thought you needed me inside to help weave your way closer to the old man.
At this point, I don't believe it's going to work.
So that was all for nothing.
Not for nothing.
She just kind of laughs to herself. You kind of pick up a kind of bitter tone to the laugh. And she just kind of says, fine, Percival and I will leave tonight. And where shall we meet you?
And he looks at the other two and he's like, we will be camping, and he tells them where their campsite is.
Just nearby?
Yeah, probably where we would be this night, yeah.
Okay.
General
All
idea.
right.
Where we camped last time when we were coming.
Yeah, okay. She knows, so yeah, she'll readily know where that is then, so...
And he's like, and it was not all for naught. I will explain more when you come out.
She just kind of frowns and nods her head and goes back inside, and again just avoids looking at Reinhold.
That's fine. I can play that game too.
Otto looks, when she's gone, Otto looks at Reinhold and kind of her walking off, and he's like, don't worry, lad. I think she's sweet on you and upset. Women do these kind of things.
As I said, I am not concerned about her feelings. I would not whisper that, so I do not care if she hears it.
And the door shuts rather loudly. And the tower is sealed again.
We'll need her help in Philton. Please do not disrupt her and egg her on to anger.
She will help us whether she is angry or not. She's relying on us now. It doesn't matter.
And he kind of grabs you by the shoulder and kind of yanks you, and he's like, listen, what are you doing here? We must be wise and not foolish. You are being foolish right now. You want your allies to like you, not despise you, regardless of how they depend on you. You are not so all-powerful that you do not see that. Taught you better than that. You've seen me talk to my enemies, people I did not, people I'm trying to swindle. You present a pleasant face.
Father, you have done quite a bit over these years. You had no right to give me any advice in that matter, and you know it. I would brush him off my shoulders and walk away.
Shakes his head, looks at Wrecker. Maybe you need to smack some sense into him.
Wrecker just glares at both of them sternly.
I can't even be bothered to spank my own child.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe Red would do that for you.
Oh, shit.
Yes.
How old is Reinhold, by the way? Like 18,
16.
19? Okay, yeah.
Just the right age.
Giving me some teen emo.
Exactly.
I had 4 years of practice. So.
I hate you.
Why?
Yes.
I even bought you your own bed.
Was the fucking table?
Oh, you had your own bed, Philton.
No, you actually had a real bed in Philton.
You were living large.
It took you long enough. You had the double before I had a single.
Otto went on and on and on at every dinner about how lucky you were to be one of the only sons in all of Philton with an actual bed.
Yeah, after he had his double when I was sleeping on the floor for the first 8 months.
You had to prove that you could haul stuff for me. I didn't know if you were going to be around for a while.
Had to make sure he was going to survive long enough to fucking get the bed.
Yeah.
And now we sleep on the fucking ground, so here we are. How the mighty have fallen.
I claim it's not my fault.
All right. It sounds like you're going to wait at camp until nightfall.
Yeah, I'm gonna even be keeping my eyes open because I didn't like the way that conversation ended.
Mm-hmm. All right. Yeah, it's about midnight when you hear some breaking twigs and someone approaching, and it is the two of them, and they have stuffed sacks of provisions they've taken, of the provisions you delivered.
And Otto asks, "What do you think the old man will do now that you're gone?"
She shrugs. I'm sure he'll throw a fit. After that, I don't know.
Will he leave the tower?
That's a good question. He's always had us to rely on. I don't know what he'll do.
Eventually, he needs to eat. Apparently, he'll starve.
Well, we didn't take everything.
Perhaps you should have.
But yes, he will.
He kind of looks at Reinhold and Record. He's like, "Perhaps we can get the information out of the old man yet. If we wait for him to leave the tower, we could attack him on the road and try to force him to speak. If we're going to do this headlong into disaster, we might as well start sooner than later." And I think Reinhold left to take a whiz, so...
Yeah, this is a good time for a bio break.
Yeah.
Just do that.
Gonna make a wizard hangry.
Yeah, I mean, if he's starving and he comes out of the... I mean, I don't know. And plus, literally, Otto does not want to go back to Philton. If he can... So Otto said, why don't we... So Colette came with some of the provisions we dropped off. So my thought is the wizard is going to get hungry eventually. So he's going to have to leave his tower. And if he leaves his tower, we could ambush him on the road, maybe.
Probably go to the closest place, too. And that'd be the town that we just put a warrant out for us.
Yeah.
So we're back to ambush the wizard
again? I
I
don't know. I mean, Otto is not real keen on going to Philton, and...
You would rather fight a wizard than go into a city.
Did you see what happened 2 sessions ago?
Yeah, I did.
Yes, he is.
Did we already discuss what's probably going to happen if we have to fight the fucking wizard?
Yes.
I don't know. If that's what Otto's lizard brain is telling him that he doesn't want to go back into Philton, I guess. I mean, Reinhold's all for trying to prove how strong he is. So if that's what we're talking about here, then
I don't know. I mean, it would be 5 against 1.
if it even works, if he even has to come out.
Well, he obviously has to eat. That's true. That we know. So he has to eat, but we don't know. And he sent Colette and Percival to go get shit for him. So he doesn't have a way to magically tell people to bring him food. So what else is he gonna do?
Yeah.
Be very hungry and pissed off when we see him on the road.
I don't know. It's an idea.
I mean, I'm on board with it if it even works.
But let's back up. What does it get us?
Access to his study.
Access to his study. And maybe, and I'm sure Simon is sending letters back to them. I would ask Colette and Percival if Simon sent letters back to him, which I think we already know that it did, because we were we tried to sneak a peek at that one letter in our house, but I wasn't able to, right? So
yeah, she said that there have been some letters back and forth.
yeah.
She said most times when they'd go to pick up the deliveries over the years, there had been no messages from Simon. Zeldun always sends something, but Simon will occasionally have something for them to carry on. They're not sure if what they are carrying back is from Simon or something that's being passed through Simon. They're not sure about that. They're never,
and I assume that it is probably from someone else, not Simon necessarily. But you've already cracked the code, so you should be able to read any of that stuff. I'm assuming. I don't know. I mean, it's either do this, find out more information, then go to Philton. I think we got to go to Philton anyway. It's just, do we think this is worth it? 4 or 5 on 1.
It's 4. You know Percival's not going to fight him.
Yeah.
Colette may not even fight him with the way she's acting.
He might have give her the business while we were gone, so she might have some hate for the dude. I don't know. What do you guys think?
How long does it take for a man to grow so hungry and then to come downstairs and realize nobody's there? 3
days. Opulence, not too long.
Colette says he has, about a week or 2 worth of provisions if he's willing to cook for himself and all that. It's not like the tower is bare now.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we would have to hang out for a while. And you're right, he might not come out. Or he might come out and go a different direction, but I doubt he's going south. I don't think there's really anything south.
He might come out just out of the sheer anger fact that his minions are gone and look for him outside.
That's true, too. What is the building to the south, at the end of the road on the south? What is that?
That's another a tiny little village. And it is Buckham. Never been to Buckham. From what you have heard, what little you've heard of Buckham is that they're kind of a small, starving community that is really cut off from Philton. Whenever peddlers come down to Shadowshade, they never really go on to Buckham.
Yeah, they got no money to spend, I'm guessing.
Yeah. Right. It's just a small farming village.
So he probably won't go there. That would be my assumption. He's going to go where he can actually get supplies. And then he probably is going to hire someone to bring him back. I assume. This is all assumption, right? But
It is indeed.
And by that time, other things could be happening too. Like the army could be looking for us, scouting out, who knows. Or we can go straight to Philton. I'll leave it up to you guys. I think either way, very dangerous, right?
Yeah, I mean...
And Wrecker's not here to weigh in, so...
No, we'll wait. But I think he knows what I was suggesting. So it's either basically wait, hopefully we can even have a chance to jump this guy, and then do it, and then be successful, and then go back to the tower and see what I see. Or just go straight to Philton and then try to get in. Go to the bookstore. Bookshoppy. Gimboni.
Gimboni. You back yet, Anwolf? I'm going to take that silence as a no.
I think he had to take the second option for the rest of it.
He took the other way out.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed.
This is a precarious situation.
Very.
Because it's either wait a week for this wizard to get pissed off and hungry, or go to Philton. Sneak back in.
Not great options either way.
I think that the sneak back in is the better one, because the wizard's just going to dominate us, probably. Unless I get superbly lucky.
Yeah, I mean, 3 or 4 versus 1. We already know that he's pretty damn powerful, that he can reconstruct the tower by himself with magic. But he might be more a bent of a non-combat nature, too.
Doubtful. He wouldn't speak like that to somebody if he couldn't back it up.
Yeah, but do you see me? Not exactly
I do.
imposing.
Yeah, but you could have probably put Wrecker in front, it would have been the same way. And both of his pupils say they've seen powers. I mean, that's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
He's been around him a lot longer than we have.
Back, Anwolf?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, cool.
That was it. Yeah, that was a Jim Dandy.
Oh, do tell. Details.
Plop fistes.
Called it.
All right.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So, yes, they are discussing their 2 options. The options on the table are to sit out here and wait for the wizard to get hungry and come out of the tower, or head to Philton and go all medieval on the bookshop.
How much food do we have to wait?
Yeah, I was waiting for someone to think of that. Well, you don't have much, and you basically have what the two of them brought out of the tower with them. So between the 5 of you, if you look over everything, you probably have enough to be comfortable for 3 or 4 days.
I honestly don't think that's that big of a deal because we send Coletta Percival to Shadowshade with money and buy it and bring it out. I mean, just send Percival. They think he's the wizard guy. He goes, gets it, brings it.
Oh yeah, no, they're welcome in Shadowshade. They could certainly buy provisions for you if they needed to.
Yeah, and that's probably what I would have him do.
That would be Wrecker's immediate concern. Would be like, what was upon hearing Colette say that he's got a week's worth, and then look at ours and go, "Well, starved before the wizard does."
Otto just kind of, yes. Well, I would send them to Shadowshade to buy the provisions. I have coin and what he paid us for the shipment. He doesn't see that as a major concern.
Best you send them now. I'll not wait and have my stomach go hungry.
Yes, if we're going to do this at all, certainly. We need to decide. I know nothing of magic. I know nothing of how difficult this might be if we tried it.
Extremely.
The man is smart, but prone to fits of outrage. He'll probably come down upon yelling for his students to come up, and then he'll realize they're not here. He may come out of his tower and look for them. Then again, he may play it smart, thinking that they're doing some kind of clever ploy. A smart man would ration his food and stretch our endeavor out even longer.
I don't think that is what he'll do. He is quite arrogant. And I believe, I can't say that he would leave, but I do not believe that he would ration himself. And he would be angry, certainly. And he looks at Colette and Percival.
They just look back.
I am willing to do what everyone thinks is best. It is only an idea.
I'm still brewing at the Sons of Simon. They're the ones that put us in this predicament. Not the wizard who's already proven himself to be tight-lipped.
Yes, I do not believe we would get anything from the wizard, but from his study if we were able to go back there and scour the tower afterwards. Information is power, but...
This wizard already has power, and I'm sure he protects what information he has. I myself wish not to open a book only to have its pages erupt in my face in a fiery gout of flame.
Otto shrugs, having no idea if that's possible or not.
If the man can move stones, who's to say he doesn't have sentries? Animated statues, other protective devices. I say we knock down death's door and demand an answer.
Very well.
And get some food on the way.
Yeah, he would send Colette or Percival probably to get the food for us, whatever.
Okay. That is easily done. So you're reasonably well reprovisioned, and am I correct in it sounding like you are going to head back up to Philton again?
That's right.
I guess.
You're getting very familiar with this route.
Yeah, my feet are killing me.
We'll waylay any merchants on the road.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Oh,
You already did. The only ones that would come at all. Unless
Hell,
it's you.
let's sack the church. Go over at him.
Yeah, fuck
exactly.
it.
Yeah, true Viking. All right. Yeah, it's a couple days again, of course, but you make your way up to Philton. What is the plan here?
Well, I think the plan is to go to the little town outside of Philton, whatever you would call that place.
They just call it Shantytown.
Shantytown. So when I was there last, I gave them money to hook
You
me up
did?
with information. So I would seek out that guy and talk
Mhm.
talk to him.
I
and see what
forget
he
his
says.
name. Does anybody remember what that guy's name is?
Hell no.
That was like
Will-
3 months ago. I have no idea.
Wilson,
Yeah, it was
yeah,
it was a
Wilson.
long time. Wilson. Yeah, all right. It's Wilson.
Hey,
All right.
Willie.
Wrecker will.
Willie.
Yeah, Wrecker will give Otto a stern warning and advice. So they're going, these people appear will do anything for the money, I'm sure. Says, who's to say there's not a bounty on us? Be quick with your words and keep your head lowered. Wear a hood if you must.
Yes, I think that is wise. And he,
Okay. And what are you doing with the cart and ox?
I'll hang out with it.
Okay.
yeah, I would ask Wrecker to come with me.
Yeah, I mean, actually, Percival and Colette can watch it if you want to all stick together.
No,
No.
I don't trust them to watch it.
All right. Okay. Percival will hang back with you. He doesn't really want to go into Shantytown, but Colette seems fine going in with the other boys. And again, the whole way, Reinhold, I assume it goes without saying that Colette just kind of it acts as if you're not there.
Good.
Remember last adventure? Remember last adventure? Wrecker did his best to shave his beard just to a mustache and cut his hair short.
Oh, all right. Yeah, she's being very friendly to Wrecker. She likes Wrecker. But you would hardly say she's in a very bright mood at all. The entire time you've journeyed up here.
Yeah, my gut's thinking she was hoping we kill the wizard so she could take over the tower and get all his books. That's what my gut's saying. But since we didn't do that, she's pissed off.
Yeah, what was her kind of reaction when we were talking about killing him on the side of the road? Any kind of response?
I'll let you make a perception roll with a Bane. See if you.
Okay.
Yeah, women are hard to read, man.
Yeah. Oh, you're right. Make that 3 Banes. No.
Oh God.
One is enough. One's fine. Mm.
So close.
Yeah, she certainly is listening, and you're not sure if she approves of the idea or is just listening or is indifferent. It's very hard to tell what she was thinking.
Okay.
When you were
You caught her interest, but you don't know why.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, she was listening with interest. That's for sure. She didn't look like bored or disinterested. She just, but you can't really tell what her thought is.
Mm-hmm.
That from
Okay.
reading her.
All right, that's fine. So I would head into Shantytown and try to make contact with this guy, and I will wear a hood if possible.
With my man Wilson.
Yeah.
Wilson!
Yo,
Willie!
Yeah, Willie.
I got my different haircut and beard shaven. I'm still gonna wear a hooded poncho like a typical peasant rainy day type.
Yeah. Okay. And Otto tries to look a little less
Awesome. Yeah.
like a less jackhole-ish.
Yeah.
But I'll move brisk, brusque, and with purpose. Basically, don't anybody fuck with me type attitude.
Yeah. So, well, how is Otto kind of presenting himself. Are you concealing yourself in any way?
Yeah, I'm gonna try to wear a hood as well.
All right.
Covering my head.
Make an intellect check to see if you can do it. Okay, so you put a hood over. Yeah, so you're wearing a hood. You guys are all hooded going in. A lot of people in Shantytown have kind of the style around here. All right, so yeah, you go in and you can ask at the local watering hole for Willie, and someone points him out, and it does look like him. And he's just kind of sitting with one of his mates over at a table, and they're drinking some cheap swill.
Yeah, and so he would buy the best drink that they have, and
it's slightly less awful. Yeah.
Yeah, and he takes it over. Yeah, he takes it over to him and kind of he buys two, and he takes it over to the table and basically walks over and says, "My lads, let me treat you to this." And he kind of puts it on the table and pushes it over and looks down at the guy that is his quote unquote contact here, Willie.
You take a seat and Willie kind of looks at you, Otto, and he says, "What the hell are you doing here? Don't you know everyone is looking for you?"
I'm not surprised. And he takes a deep breath. He's like, "Tell me what you know."
I'll tell you what I didn't know. I didn't know I was in business with a bunch of witches and demon worshippers.
Oh, please. Like, that is the truth. And he kind of, like, waves it off like it's nonsense.
He kind of squints at you and he says, "Everyone in Philton and Shantytown has heard of this. So, true or not, that's what you are."
Yes. Well, I need one more favor of you. Was I not kind to you and yours?
You paid me to do what I did. What do you want?
I would pay you to do something else. I want you to smuggle me and mine into Philton.
So you can kill some more people?
Maybe.
Wrecker is kind of getting pissed, so what he's going to do is he's going to take a couple coins, and he said he was seated with someone.
Yeah.
I'm going to put the coins by the guy and basically place my hand on the back of his nape of his neck and shoulder, and I go, "You that friend, go enjoy a couple on me at the bar. I need your seat." And, like, help him out of the chair.
Yeah, he snatches up those coins so fast you barely see his hand move.
Okay.
And he gets out of the seat, and he looks happy and goes up to the bar. I mean, he does kind of look back over his shoulder, and you can see he's kind of figured out who you must be based on the conversation. But his mind seems to be on the bar.
Is Colette is with us? Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah, Otto would say, "Keep eyes on him. Don't let him leave." And
don't let him leave.
Or tell me if he goes to leave.
She gets up from the table and goes up to the bar and sits next to the guy and gets a drink. Actually, he buys her a drink.
On me.
And Otto says, "Trust me, what we're doing is for the good of everyone. I know it doesn't seem like it."
Okay,
Wrecker will
go.
slam his hand on the table too, and look at him, and he says, would a bunch of witches and warlocks and devil worshippers do what I did for the children of this town? Do you not remember it was me that helped feed them?
He looks at you and he shrugs and he says, frankly, I don't care what you do to the bastards in Philton. He says, but I do kind of draw a line at dealing with witches.
Well, you're not dealing with wizards.
He looks at Wrecker and he says, I don't pretend to know your motives or your mind. He says, but I'll tell you this, if you'll pay me coin, I'll get you into the city. And then I don't want to see you again. Don't trouble me again. You don't know me, I don't know you.
Fair enough.
Wrecker nods affirmingly. He's like going, trust me, friend. He says, we are not the ones to worry about. We are here to put an end to their evil reign and tyranny. And when we stand above their fallen corpses, says we can put a good word in for you with the locals. Maybe perhaps we can find you residence within the city.
He says, don't put in any words for me, please. You don't know me, I don't know you.
Very well. Business it is.
We'll need access into the city, and then once we're in, we need... I'm assuming you're bringing this in by cart. My idea was we would be in a cart with a tarp over us, with fish or whatever you bring in the city. And then when you do, you need to take us to where the bookshop is, and let us out there. It will be easy for you, no one will be around. It will be best for both of us.
So you can't... Can you go in day, or do you have to go in at night?
I believe night would be best, but
Then there
whatever.
will be... Well, that's more expensive, but it can be done.
Yeah, Wrecker looks and pauses, and he's like, looks at Otto, and he goes, when are the guards most lax? That is when we should go.
He says, well, if you want to go in at night, no one goes in at night unless they've paid off the guard. The guards will know that it's not exactly legal, whatever we're doing. But I know one of the sergeants that'll take coin to kind of blind eye.
Just before the wee hours, then, that would be good and sound, actually. You could say that you're wishing to get to the market to be one of the first stalls open.
I'll not say anything about my intentions, and he won't want to know. He'll just want the coin.
Look at Otto like, this is easier than I thought.
It may take a couple of days for me to arrange it. It'll have to be on a night when the sergeant is on duty.
Let me ask you, what's the bounty on our heads?
Do you really want to know?
I do.
The town is paying 20 gold pieces each for your head.
So let me ask you, what will prevent you from going and telling them where we are? Or when we're coming in, you throw back the tarp and voila.
I suppose it's going to be the 60 gold pieces you pay me as my personal fee so that I don't do that.
60 gold pieces. Well, I'm afraid I don't have 60 gold pieces, as you probably know.
What do you have?
I probably have... What do I have? Like a little under 20, something like that?
Yeah, I'd say about 20.
And I have 10.
10. That's half of one of you.
Well, if we are witches, you would be well to help us. But we're not, of course. Look. This is for your own good. I say it not with any sort of malice towards you or yours, or bullshit. No, sir. Why would we be coming back here? That is foolish. More than foolish. Suicide almost.
I don't know why you're here, and as I said, I don't want to know. Make a willpower check
Mm-hmm.
with no boon or bane. You would normally have a boon, but this is a cell here.
Oh, God.
Yeah. He said, so let me understand this. You have a total of 10 gold as my fee and the bribe to the sergeant. The sergeant will probably want 5. That means I get left with 5. And I'm going to risk being associated with wanted witches, whether you are or not. I don't want to hear your story about how you're not. If I get caught, I hang.
Well, tell me
You'll
how
have
much.
You'll have to do a little better than 5 gold. Do you have anything else you can give me?
He's scratching.
Oxen cart.
Yeah. Do you need a... We have a cart and an ox, which might help.
He looks interested in that. He said, that's certainly better than just 10 gold pieces. All right. He said, but as I said, after this, I never want to see you again.
Of course. And he kind of says, if you do betray us, I will confess that you have been in league with us the entire time. I do not wish to do such a thing, but...
His eyes narrow at you, and you can kind of hear him curse a little under his breath.
And I'm sure they will, in the panic and hysteria, they will blame you as well, so we are in this together until we are dropped off by the bookshop.
You see he's fidgeting a little bit and seems nervous and... Fine, we have an arrangement then.
And he gets half the gold out now, kind of not out in the open, but kind of passes it to him.
Yeah.
The rest will be in a pouch when you drop us off.
Of course, I'll need this to pay the sergeant anyway.
Wrecker will try to ease the guy's mind by taking his mercenary symbol out. And he'll go, no need to spook the lad. Otto, he says, he is a man of business. I myself understand business, having served with the legions of the South. He says he knows how it goes. We pay him corn, he does a job. He betrays us, he dies.
Well, let's hope that doesn't happen then.
He just has a sour look on his face, and he says, fine, come back here tomorrow evening. And be ready to go tomorrow night, rather. If it's convenient, otherwise it will probably be the following night or the one after. The sergeant only works that gate once every 2 nights, or 3, depending.
Very well, and make sure your friend doesn't go blabbing. And he kind of nods to the other guy.
I'll have words with him.
Wrecker nods affirmatively, throws a couple more coins and pushes them towards him. He goes, I thank you much, Wilson.
He just kind of nods.
Otto stands up and leaves immediately.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I assume Wrecker follows out as well.
Yeah, he will drag back a little bit to try and see, like, if Wilson, like, immediately goes, hey, come here, guess what?
Okay. So you hang back at the table still?
Oh, no, basically a slow, casual way out.
Yeah,
Let Otto
okay.
get out in the streets. And
okay, when Otto leaves, and you can see Colette sort of noticing that you guys are leaving, and you can tell she's starting to work her way to disentangle herself from this guy. He seems like he's having a great time chatting up this woman, and she's ready to go now. And it takes her a little while, but she manages to. By the time by the time Wrecker is ready to get out the door, the guy at the table he's just sitting there. You're fairly sure he is aware of watching him. And Colette finally gets away, and she's doing kind of her little charming, oh yes, I'll kind of see you again, blah blah blah, I'll be back, and all that. And
if I'm aware that he said he's aware of me.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay, when she gets near and over towards me, I'll put my arm around her and I go, come woman, you've got to work the door to the house. And put my arm around her and try to carry her out.
Okay. She's momentarily confused, but just kind of goes along with it. And you're outside.
Otto's just heading straight back towards their camping. I don't trust this one. Curses.
You trust no one.
Yes, I do not. And he just keeps going.
My gut tells me he will do as he's told. He doesn't wish to cause any trouble. I'm sure the guards would ransack through Shantytown in a heartbeat if given a chance to be rid of transients.
Yes.
What better excuse than being in league with witches?
Well, let us hope we can get in easily. Our way out will be more difficult, I assume.
Wrecker's kind of getting cold and hard now. He'll make eventual comment. He goes, if not for the children here, I'd say burn the place to the ground and use it as a distraction.
And he looks at me kind of surprised. You cannot blame them for being scared, I suppose. And then I would return and tell all this to Reinhold.
Book boy.
The boy. Okay.
Sounds like the arrangement is set for what it's worth.
It's actually pretty cool. You can use the ox and cart to pull us in under the fish, and then ox and cart, yeah.
Yep, and he walks off with his prize.
Well, he is to drop us off right by the bookshop, so we won't have to deal with navigating the streets at the very least. The price on our head is outrageous. And then he kind of frumps in his seat and looks miserable until it's time to go.
Okay.
Wrecker seems kind of happy because, given his history in the back of his mind, he's kind of hoping he meets death because he can finally be with his wife and daughter. So, he actually gets kind of upbeat practicing katas and stuff like that, martial stances. So he'll even offer to train the boy and Otto and shooting stuff. And he'll eventually make the comment before the time rolls around, if Colette and them still here, and he's like going, it's like, soon we may face our death. You have any last things to do? And he'll look at the two young people, go, and then, pat his forearm, the whole thrusting motion. Anything you wish to do before we jump and leap into the jaws of death, I'd suggest you do it now.
Otto shakes his head at that and rubs his hand.
Colette says, what are the two of us to do while you boys are off on your...
What do you want to do? I would invite you to come with us if you wanted.
If you wish to be known as those who helped to defeat an evil cult, by all means join and gain the glory. If you wish to tuck your heads and merely be concerned with your self-survival, then I say the word oyster. Find your own place in this world.
She says, I don't know these sons of Simon. I don't care much for them, but I have nothing against them. This seems personal for you. My beef is with the wizard, not with them.
Well, let me tell you, girl, it might be personal, but it is far greater than that. It is a cult, one that summons the dead, and all sorts of nefarious murders and such.
I assume they eat babies as well.
I could not say, perhaps.
They could be nothing more than a group of snobbish, prickish, elitist wannabes with a mild source of magical tomes and devices and what. Who knows, upon defeating them, you might find something that could aid you in your beef against the wizard.
And if you help us, we will help you against the wizard once this is all done. I know it pained you that we left in such a way.
She says she'll think on it.
You could even go into Philton before us. As a scout and a lookout, that might be best, actually. If there are...
What do you want us to find for you?
Just to make sure there's not a massing guard ready to capture us when we come in the door would be nice.
I see.
That there are not guards by the bookshop as well also would be helpful.
Percival actually says that makes sense. That's a good idea.
Yes. I have many of them.
Colette says very well.
Otto practices shooting his bow and looks like he hates it every second of it.
Grip it like you would your cock. Good and firm, like this.
It's a lot of muscle work.
Yeah, I know. His shoulder's like aching.
Loading a pistol is it's a little effort, but this whole bow thing, yeah.
Yeah,
Wrecker manhandle him, grab him by behind by both sides of his waist. No, stand straight, stern, like this. Now it's in the breath. Take a deep breath in as you draw back on the bow. Hold it. No, don't shake the wrist like that. Slap him. Draw back when your arm is good and straight. Take a deep breath, and as you exhale, release the string.
Swing your hips and follow through.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's all in the hips.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a pretty poor student, but he...
Yeah. Yeah.
I just get the manhandling, that's all.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
After a half an hour practicing. Yes,
sure
I'll do this later.
Very uncomfortable.
Yeah, oh yeah, he does not like that.
It's yeah. Yeah, when Wrecker's manhandling you probably have never encountered how much stronger he is. until now. Like, it's probably a little unnerving to how easily he just kind of makes you do what he wants you to do. Yeah.
You're glad I'm not resisting.
All right. Yes, Reinhold has been passing the day reading and studying his books. He's actually starting to almost run out of things to read now.
Uh-oh. Well, I ain't gonna let him slack. I'm gonna throw a staff down. You can
reread things, but you're kind of getting low on new material here.
It's a good thing we're going to a bookstore.
Mm-hmm.
I can see it now. We charge in the front his library card and show it to him.
At this point, it's reading, but also writing as well. Writing some things.
But Wrecker don't want you to dally. He will throw a staff down and go, take your head out to the books, boy. Hopefully you'll be a better student than your father.
And about what time of day is it that he's doing this, trying to do this shit with me?
I would say, you arrived. It would be late actually, because you guys, unless this is the next day, because when you would have arrived at Philton, it would have been kind of evening, and you guys would have gone into Shantytown. It was dark.
I think it was the next day, because
it must be the next day then. Yeah, that's fine. So you got plenty of time here to do whatever needs to be done.
My work is the work of the mind, Wrecker, but I'll humor you. I would get up and take the staff.
He frumps and scowls a little bit when you mention the word humor me. And the first blow comes out of nowhere and knocks the stick as hard as it can, so it rattles up into your armpits. Humor me this.
I'll swipe at him, Go half speed.
And make noises.
Yeah, pretty.
But yeah, it's clear to see that Wrecker's actually relishing in the whole martial aspect of what's about to happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd say you may even notice a little bit over time, Wrecker seems to be kind of back in, like, initially he wasn't that impressive, I would say. Didn't seem that impressive.
He's kind of fat.
Yeah, he kind of he didn't have a great showing. I remember initially.
It's called manic depression.
But he seems to be. Yeah, his whole attitude is different. The way he holds himself, you notice he's a little enthusiastic, maybe, like, and just there's a competence about him that you even notice over what you remember, your first impression of him.
This is what he used to be, what he hoped he would never become again, but now he's just like, fuck it.
Too old to change.
I am what I am, and that's all that I am.
Yeah, it's clearly not that he's learning new things. It's that he's just kind of like recovering his old
muscle memory
self. Yeah, it's coming back.
Just as Otto's becoming more shifty and self-preservation, self-preserving as a rogue would be. Yeah.
All right. Anything else to do other than hang out for the day and
not really
practicing and all that? Okay. Colette will go in with you again.
Yeah.
And I assume you go in and return to the tavern. The watering.
I think I would send Reinhold in this time. I don't want to poke my face in there too many times.
Okay. Reinhold, you going to go in?
Yep.
My
this-
explanation is I don't want to be, I've already been in there once. There's more, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
This time, instead of being bold and straightforward with purpose, he will play it smart and actually try to not really slink, but just more of a casual, changing his demeanor. It's when you never adopt the same persona twice when you're trying to be tactical. So.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you head in and go to the tavern, correct?
Oh, yeah, wherever the scheduled meeting point would be, yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely.
he just said to meet him back there at the tavern again the following evening.
I will scout it out first, though.
Yeah.
Okay. You can make a perception check with 1 Bane, please.
Oh, that's good. We're starting off right.
So you are not sure. Everything seems to be in the clear.
God.
Yeah, I'm sure it will be.
Look around and ultimately give the motion forward.
Yeah. And you go to the tavern and go in and you can see him sitting in his same seat. But he is alone this time. Do you approach him? I don't want to make any assumptions here now.
Otto's the one that would be the head man, so whatever.
I'm not there.
He's not
I did
there?
not go.
Oh, you're not?
I sent Reinhold in my place.
Well, you're the son. You're in the stead. I'll let you speak for your father.
I don't know who this guy is.
Oh, I'll point. I'll grab his shoulder and point.
All right. Well,
That's
I
you
know now.
there.
All right then. I'll walk over and
I will be bodyguard mode, basically.
Sit
searching around again if I can.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, and Colette's kind of looking around too. She's you can tell she's being kind of wary. Okay. And he just kind of looks up but doesn't make any big production of seeing you, but you're sure he saw you.
I believe you had an arrangement with my father.
I did.
Well, we're here. This is where we're meant to meet. What next?
Are you ready to go tonight?
We are.
Then we will go tonight. The sergeant is on duty. He has been paid. He'll be expecting a cart to go through in the early hours of the morning, as per your father's instructions.
Very well. Is there anything else?
I don't believe so.
Well, then we shall have this. We shall have this done then. Let's stand up and leave.
He said, clearly I will have the cart and ox when I am done. But what about my pay? The rest of the money.
Our father stated he would pay you whenever we arrived at our destination.
And how do I know you won't just stiff me then?
Did we stiff you before?
I don't think you had much of a choice before.
We don't have much of one now.
This whole thing stinks, but I'll see you later. He says, meet me a couple hours before sunup, just outside the city gates, perhaps a quarter mile. I'll be waiting there. I'll look for you.
I would nod, and we'll meet you there.
All right.
I would get get up and wave to Wrecker that we're going.
Okay. And
not at Wilson. Turn around and stance off.
all right. Colette goes out with you. And Colette says, do you think he's being honest with us?
I would look at Wrecker to answer her because this has been a cold shoulder thing on my end too the last few days. I'm just looking at Wrecker.
Oh yeah, she was definitely asking Wrecker.
Good. just so we're clear.
Mm-hmm.
Is that where my perception 0 comes in?
Yeah.
That is where it comes in?
Yeah, everything seems fine to you.
Oh, yeah. Okay. He seems to be speaking the truth. Then he'll pause and go, if not, I would kill him.
Okay, you head out of Shantytown then. There are people milling about. It's night in Shantytown. There's, probably a few people up to no good or some such, but no one troubles you. And you get back where Otto and Percival are waiting.
Otto stands up and looks at you expectantly.
The deal is on. We are to meet him about a quarter mile away from the city gate. A few hours before sunup, he will take us in. He's expecting you to pay him whenever we reach our destination at the bookstore.
Yes, unfortunate. I was hoping he would turn us down.
I just shake my head. Well, unfortunately, we're doing exactly what we planned on doing. I'm sorry about your coin purse, Father.
It won't matter after this. We'll probably all be dead. And he, frowns and shakes his head. I think we should send these two into the town. And if they find anything, they should come out immediately and warn us. If it's anything out of the usual.
She says, there's the inn right across from the gate.
A great lookout position, then.
Yes, she says, we'll get a room there and keep an eye out for you coming through at night, and we'll watch. Of course, yeah, if it looks like they're getting ready to take you tonight, we'll leave and warn you, but otherwise we'll watch and follow and join you. We should have some sort of signal if it does appear that things are amiss. What would you like us to do?
How would we see this signal?
Well, I don't believe you would see it. You'd have to hear it.
Throw open your shutters and scream as if you and Percival here are having the best night of your life.
She kind of smirks, and even in the dark, you can see Percival turns a couple of shades of red when you say that. And she says, "Fine."
At least I will get a chuckle before I die.
A chuckle. Well, I'm pleased that it will amuse you.
Well,
Come, Percival, we have work to do. And she and Percival gather up their things and go.
okay. So Otto looks at the other two and he says, I'm guessing you relayed all the information about where we're supposed to meet and stuff, right?
Yep.
We should probably then do our own due diligence and scout out this area before we go and make sure doesn't have men waiting for us and we show up in the dark and they just capture us then.
That would be a sound strategy.
All right,
Well,
so you're talking about just looking around outside.
Yeah, basically just going to the meeting spot before he gets there and kind of be hidden just a little bit and just make sure he comes alone, that sort of thing.
Okay.
Anybody wearing a burlap sack that has a pot helm on.
Yeah, right.
I know who you work for.
You go and so who's scouting out?
I would assume all three of us just go and kind of just wait.
Then Wrecker, you are the scout. So why don't you? Why don't you make a perception check? And your normal boon would be balanced out by a bane. So just do one straight up perception.
What happened to your eyes?
Everything seems to be in order. It's quiet, as you would kind of expect. You can hear some night sounds from the city, or from the town rather. But it's still kind of early, and so you're not. That's not unusual.
It's one of those situations where you want to see a fight so bad you actually get yourself into one, it seems like. That's the way I see it. It's kind of like, I hope something happens. Oh, yeah, it's clear. Let's go.
Ha 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 ha.
And once again, to the best of his ability, he look around and then give the motion forward sign to everyone.
Everything seems okay. I assume you don't have the carton with you. This is just a scout first, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, everything's quiet.
I guess we would try to get some sleep and then I do want to be there with the cart or off the side of the road just a few hours or at least an hour before he's supposed to get there, something like that.
Okay.
Just to kind of
all right.
I want to be there first. But
Sure.
Otto basically tries to sleep.
How long between the time that we're there now and that we're supposed to be there?
Probably about 6 hours, 7 hours.
Is there any spots where I might be able to hide and maybe soldiers sleep? That way I'm actually there.
Sure. Yeah, there's kind of a little copse of trees where you're assuming that's where he meant to meet you. It's about a quarter mile from the town. That would be the obvious sort of place to conceal yourself.
Yeah, I'd do that. I'd do that.
Which is almost an oxymoron.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the obvious place to conceal yourself. Yeah, you can do that and just sort of.
Be like, you two go ahead. I'll stay here.
Nap. Yep. Okay.
I will not be returning with you. I'll stay here and make sure the coast is clear.
All right.
Yes, very well.
Okay, and so you guys try to get some sleep for the big.
I guess.
Event.
All right. I can fail another perception or a couple.
All right, just you can all make will checks with a boon for me. Actually, Wrecker, you can have 2 boons on this one, the will check.
I still barely.
Wow.
Man, you rolled a 6 too.
Yes,
needed all of it.
All right. You two guys wake up in time to kind of get going to be there an hour early-ish. Wrecker, you're tired. You're not even sure why, but you're just
subconsciously dreaming of my wife and daughter because I know death is imminent.
Yeah. But you stay awake and alert. So they and you see Otto and Reinhold kind of quietly leading the cart up the road and come over to you. Everything seemed quiet to you. Although, Wrecker, I'll give you another perception check again, straight up this time.
The badass.
Yeah,
Jeez.
everything seems quite in order to you.
Now, if I'm failing and there's actually no threat of harm, I don't mind because I'm getting all the bad shit out of the way.
Yeah.
Uh,
You don't.
If not, Darren's doing a good job of creeping up the suspense of when we're gonna die here.
he's got a good poker face, yeah.
All right. So you guys wait there, and about the time when you would expect him to arrive, you can see a lone figure making his way up the road from Shantytown with a hood, and not with a guy who's a hood, wearing a hood. And he kind of makes his way over towards the copse of trees, and you see him kind of looking around and listening.
Being the good bodyguard, I'll be the first to make my presence known.
Okay. You see him tense for just a moment when he sees you, and then he apparently probably recognizes you and heads over.
Yeah, size and build, probably.
He says, "Is everything in order to go?"
Yeah. As the others are nearby.
Good. All right.
Otto would lead out the cart, I suppose.
Mm-hmm. All right. So he takes a look at the cart and says, "All right, you three lie still in there. I'll cover you up, and I'll knock on the side if there's trouble. Otherwise, just wait. When we get there, I'll take the canvas off."
Can I do any kind of check to kind of see his tone or the way, any kind of
Yep.
trepidation and sort of
You
that?
can attempt an intellect with a bane for me.
Yeah, it's nighttime, hard to read emotions.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Yeah, he seems on the up and up.
Honest fella.
As
All right,
honest
well.
as the day is long.
Yeah. All right, well, as I said, I have your pouch of gold, and he kind of taps his belt. I will toss it up to you when you let us out.
You can hand it to me. I'm not.
Very well. Here, you can count. He lets him count what's in the purse, so
Okay.
he knows it's all there.
All right.
Yeah, this guy knows he's beneath everybody's station. No need to remind him.
You know.
That's just pissing him off.
Yeah, he gives it a quick count over, yeah. And he goes, "Fine," and hands it back to you.
I'm really debating about having another pouch in there with less gold, but I don't think I'll do that.
Yeah. It's not like someone like him would have thought, "Hey, here, you can count it ahead of time and hear it." Like that would be like one of the oldest tricks, right?
Yeah.
Whoa,
Put all those bullets in the bag. And
this guy doesn't strike you as somebody that stupid that he would go, "Well, I saw with my own eyes and everything was good."
I'm used to the people in
Yeah.
Shadowshade.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. I think you've been spoiled
Yeah.
lately. You forget what it's like to deal with distrusting town folk.
Yeah.
All right. So I assume you all get in the back and lie down, and and sort of help him cover and arrange the canvas over you.
What's he covering us with?
I'm just assuming you've just got this. What it is, it's like a very large burlap sack that's been cut to make kind of a large sheet to cover you with.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't know if we were hiding amidst something.
Maybe two of them. You don't really have much of anything to hide amidst.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
the way
I was
really
wondering if
need
he'd brought
to,
fish,
they're not
but
gonna
that's
check it
fine.
anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just reliving every bad movie I've seen where people were hiding in straw and then the guards just come stabbing the straw with their spears.
They've already paid the guy. They don't give a shit. They're gonna let us in.
I hope so.
Man.
Gotta love corruption.
That's certainly how it should work. All right. So yeah, he climbs up on board and he kind of whips the rein and on, and you can feel the cart rolling and rocking back and forth, and you feel yourself going up the hill, getting closer. I don't know if any.
Otto, you're the sneaky one. Try to peep out.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. He does try to peek out just a little bit. Try to.
Jesus Christ!
All right, you can again try a perception with a bane, and then I'm gonna make you do a stealth check too.
Doing everything we can to fucking die right now.
God.
Okay. All right. It's really like you poke your head up a little bit and you can't see shit. But you can make an agility check with a boon.
You did this.
I'll use a fortune spend, I suppose, to reroll.
Unbelievable.
No, actually, it would be a success, right? I have one left, I think.
Yes, if you spend it, it's an automatic.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm gonna do.
All right.
Oh. Why did you do it?
Blame Wolf. He convinced me.
Jesus Christ!
I was doing it thinking that you were the most apt at doing it.
I mean, I probably am, but
you sticking your head up and you're trying to peek around, and you hear a voice ahead, and you kind of duck back down and pull the canvas over you, just as you can hear somebody kind of stepping up alongside the cart. And he says, "What's your business?" And he said, "I have business with the sergeant." And you hear a voice from a little further ahead say, "Don't worry, Gunther, it's already been arranged. This is," he said, "one of the rich bastards needed a night delivery and paid extra for it." And the guy there's this kind of momentary pause, and the guy just said, "All right, go ahead." And the cart starts moving. And you can feel the cart kind of passing under the gate. Mm-hmm. And you hear that guy's voice say, "Well, sir, if he paid extra, I expect I'll see a little bit of that myself." And then you kind of pull away from the gate. You can feel that you are through. And even just the sound, the quality has changed. You can hear little echoes and that off buildings, and you're sure you're inside now. And you do not hear any screams of pleasure.
Okay. Yeah, Otto is literally shitting a brick right now. He's shaking and nervous, and
yeah. But you've only gone for about 30 seconds past the gate, and the cart stops suddenly. And you are quite sure you hear Willie kind of slip down off the wagon seat and thump to the ground.
Oh, as in feet thumping or body thumping?
Feet.
Okay.
Sounds like he lands solidly.
Okay.
Not like a huge thumpy. Nope. It sounds like he just slid down and landed on his feet.
I'll wait and see what happens, I guess.
Everyone wait and see what happens?
Yeah, I'm not. I'm just like freaking out, but not saying anything.
Okay. After about 10 seconds, the cart starts moving again. No one and no one's in the seat.
Wait, what?
No one. No one climbed back on.
Oh no, as soon as, if no one climbed back on and the cart's moving, the tarp's coming up for me. Something sketchy is going on if that's what's happening. So whatever I see, the tarp's coming off at that point, because that is very suspicious.
I mean, somebody was hiding up there.
Okay. So you kind of so you're whipping the tarp off and getting up.
I'm bringing it up pretty high. I'm not trying to hide anymore. I want to see what's going on. And why is this moving? Is he walking alongside it? Like, what's going on?
You could have drove it up to the guardhouse.
You walk. So you pull the canvas aside and sit up and look ahead, and you can see he's leading the ox by the bit.
Oh, I'll go back down.
He's walking it. I would like you to make an agility check with a boon, please. However, you're still fairly close to the gatehouse.
No problem.
Thank you, God. The only roll we hit all day.
The one that counts the most.
Oh, man.
You get back down, and about 5-10 seconds later, you feel the cart kind of turning to the left.
As it should.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you kind of remember the city, so I'm pull it up here. You're not exactly 100% sure where you are, but you're guessing you're probably here.
Mm-hmm.
And you can feel you're kind of in a narrower space than you were before. And you're kind of rocking down along this uneven kind of road. This goes on for a little bit longer, and then you make a kind of sharp right, and then the cart comes to a stop.
God, I am shitting a brick right now.
And again, you hear him he kind of walks back in your direction to the back, and he pulls the canvas back.
I'm immediately looking to see if I can place where we are exactly.
Okay. Yep, you get a quick look around. What are you going to do if you're not where you think you are before you make your perception check?
Well, I guess it depends where we are. I'm gonna. My first thing would be to duck kind of back down.
Okay.
First, and then kind of decide from there.
Okay, so go ahead and make a perception check with just straight up.
Hey.
Okay. You very quickly recognize you are exactly in front of the bookshop, but you are almost there. Kind of still And you saw that there, as is often the case, the bookshop is kind of odd in town in that it leaves torches lit at the entrance of the bookshop all night.
Mm-hmm.
So he has kind of stopped still in the shadows of the street.
Yeah, so Otto would immediately nod and slide out of the cart
Okay.
and hand him the gold with everything he's supposed to have.
Okay. You see him kind of barely perceptively, but you would do the same thing. So, so you notice he kind of gives it a quick, just a quick little shake and sort of a wang it in his hand kind of thing.
Yeah.
And he seems satisfied, and he just turns and climbs onto the cart.
Yeah, I'm waiting by the cart, not getting ahead of anybody until people are out with me.
Yeah, we'll pop out.
Yeah, okay. And as soon as you guys are out, he starts the cart moving again.
Good.
And that is where we're gonna stop.
Oh, of course.
This is the perfect stopping place.
I think it'd be so cool if we just grab the torches and then when they come out to see what burning, that's when we bust our way in.
Yeah, we definitely get the torches because after we find what we need in here, we burn the shit to the ground.
I say if I can just bust in, throw the torches, and start burning the place to the ground.
Well, we need info though. That's the thing.